There are a lot of websites out there now that will help you get free money on the internet. They help you do campaigns and they do all this stuff for you because they're all set up on the internet to do it. And then they collect a percentage of the money you get. Yep. But now there are also people that will help you put the campaign on your own website so you don't have to share that money. So you can have your own website and use your own website to go out and get free money on the internet. I mean, this is what's going on all out there, and there's people, in all nooks and crannies to help you with all these kinds of things. So watch this guy, how he could help you raise money on your own website. Well, Alon Gorin, man, I mean, you guys have started more crowdfunding sites than anybody else in the world, haven't you? But you really are. I mean, there's a new industry, but you guys do the back end, right? So you build these platforms. Like if I want my own crowdfunding site, because I don't think I need Kickstarter or any of these other people to do anything, and want to save all the money for myself, you're the kind of guys I would come to have it because you've done so many and know what's wrong with doing that, what's right with doing this, and all that kind of stuff, right? So why did you get involved in crowdfunding stuff?
Well, yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what we do. And we got involved in crowdfunding at the beginning because we needed it ourselves. So, back in the day, over 10 years ago, I was in a band. And
a band? What kind of band?
Oh, it was a punk rock band.
Punk rock.
So we wanted to raise money to go on tour, to buy equipment, to do all sorts of things like that. There was no good way to do it. And later on, when I worked at MySpace, I was doing all sorts of social stuff there.
Right.
And I remember looking at some fundraising tools online and thinking that they were all terrible. There was no good way to raise money online. So me and my partner built it. We built exactly what we wanted to see in a crowdfunding site. And at the time, there was no term crowdfunding. We called it social fundraising. And there was no way at the time to define what you wanted and then also define what increments you wanted to take it in and display it to the crowd. And so we actually, we built it.
So in other words, 10 years ago, you were doing what's now called crowdfunding?
We started our company probably 6 years ago.
Wow, well, 6 years ago, that's before anything.
10 years ago is when we sort of got the inkling of the idea.
I see, right.
I own domain names from back then. Payformyfuture.com and grassrootsfundraising.com. Actually, I don't know if I own that. I own grassrootslending.com. Different things like that.
God, do you still keep them?
Yeah, I have a lot of them still. If you ask my wife, she thinks I'm a hoarder. I probably have like 100 names I own. Until it finally became a business that made us money.
I see. Then it was okay. Huh?
Yeah, we bought stupid names too. Like I own I don't know if I still have it, but I had ones that were like ifihadadog.com and things like that. I remember there was some reason why we bought it, and then we'd look at it after the fact, like a year later, like, why did we buy this? This makes no sense.
So back to your side, how could you help people then? Because everybody's trying to get into crowdfunding, or if they know about it, but it's really, I mean, in my mind, it's like getting free money on the internet. It doesn't take any forms to fill out or credit checks, or you need money for something. You go on the internet and get it, right?
Well, yes and no. There's,
details. Oh, no.
Definitely easier. It's definitely easier than, going to the bank and getting a loan. Well, it might not be easier, but it's cheaper. Yeah. And if you do it right, you'll be more successful because all the steps that it takes to do it, it's not simple and easy in terms of just fill out a form and money will fall from the sky, because you have to work for it. And you have to spend time and do it right. But if you do it right, you're building a successful business. Yeah. If every step you have to take to do a good crowdfunding campaign is the same step you have to take to build a successful business. Mm-hmm. So if you're doing it for your business, you're doing it right. Yeah. If you're doing it for yourself or for some kind of charity, well, then you're bringing your friends and family on board, and it's just a more scalable version of picking up the phone and calling grandma and asking her for something. So either way, it's a win-win, and it really is helpful.
But then again, I mean, to me, it's way to expand further from grandma, primarily.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I did a campaign one time for a fitness-based kind of campaign. I called it 100 Miles for Charity. I was going to run 100 miles over the course of 1 month, and it was for me just because I'm a computer nerd and I sit behind a desk all day. It was a very sort of selfish thing, but the whole thing was going to go to charity. And when I did that campaign, I got the usual suspect. I got my brother to contribute, my mom, some friends. Yeah. But then I realized that because I did it, and because it's hooked up to all my networks, I got friends from high school to contribute. I got my brother's mother-in-law to contribute. And I got my brother's wife's aunt to contribute. Somebody I've never met before besides maybe at their wedding to contribute because she saw it. Yeah. It showed up on his feed saying, I just contributed to Alon's campaign. And she felt like, wow, this is a great cause. He's doing a great thing. Why don't I give him $25 to that charity? And I ended up raising thousands of dollars for a charity that if I just took the people within my closest network, it might have been a couple $100.
Yeah. And how much did you get?
I think I ended up raising close to $2,000 on that one. It was pretty good. It was for charity.
Yeah, and it was that's a nice business.
It's pretty good for me because I'm always hitting people up for crowdfunding campaigns. So I'm always testing some new technology, and so I'm always trying to come up with new campaigns. So if I'm always hitting people up and I did that, you know, if it was my only one for the year, I probably would have done better.
Well, I see. It gets old after a while. Your friends. Yeah. Well, no, but also the big companies that are using it. I mean, you say Coca-Cola has hired you guys to do something for them in Mexico, of all places. What are they doing with you there?
Yeah, they did a campaign called Transformadora CL. It's for their water brand in Mexico. And their water brand in Mexico is called CL, and it's all about doing good deeds. Basically, it's about sustainable projects, clean water projects, and creating jobs in Mexico. And people come on board. They say, I want to do this campaign for this town, or I want to do this campaign to bring clean water. If Coca-Cola approves it to go live on the site, they actually fund the first 50% of the project, and then they open it up to the community to fund the rest.
I see. Wow.
And for them, it's great marketing. It's doing good for the people that they serve. And it's great for the community.
Yeah. So in other words, it's like some community has an idea to get more clean water for the community, and they need $2,000, $10,000 or whatever it is. And Coca-Cola says, "Hey, that's a good idea. We'll give you $5,000," and they use the crowdfunding site to get that $5,000, huh?
Yeah, and the great thing about this crowdfunding site, if you're in Mexico and you can use it, is that Coca-Cola not only does that, but Coca-Cola also is one of the biggest advertisers in the world. So if they do anything, they drive traffic to it.
I see.
So you not only will help you, first of all, they help you by funding it, but they'll also help you by bringing people to the campaign that could potentially fund it as well. And because it's all for charity, I'm pretty sure. Actually, I'm not going to go there. I think it's tax dedeductible, but not 100% sure.
When you think about it, what comes to my mind, say you're a big car dealer in a local community, and you put a crowdfunding thing from you on your site, and you say, hey, we'll put the first $1,000 to any good project. Imagine the publicity that car dealer would get. Certainly
Absolutely.
A lot more.
There's a lot of folks who are doing sort of things like that. So I see things from a crowdfunding portal perspective a lot of the time. So it's not just one campaign. I'm thinking about the people who are running a site that has thousands of campaigns on it. And some of them, are having troubles figuring out how to earn a great living off of the small fraction that they take off the top. Most of them, the average is like 5%.
Right.
And that's great, if you have volume on your site. And most of the people are getting to the point where they're getting volume and it's becoming great businesses for them. But what they're also realizing is that there's local players in the community that would happily sponsor the sites as a whole creative things. Like, for example, one group, so we power a site called ATB Financial, or the site is called Alberta Booster. The bank that powers it is called ATB Financial. And what they did was they found local people in the community who would actually pay for sort of not monopoly money, but sort of funny money for the site, where they went to shows and they said, here's $100, here's $100, here's $100 to people in the community.
Wow.
And on that $100 thing was an advertisement for the people who gave that $100.
I see.
Now they're taking that $100, putting it onto the site, so they're giving it to somebody who's creating a business in Alberta, Canada, and then it's helping them drive traffic and do things. And they're a bank who's serving the community, so they're doing a completely free service that's great. But now they're finding other businesses in the community that are supporting the community.
Wow.
Gift certificates and promo.
Oh, that's terrific. So to find you, it's invested investedin.com, right? So investedin.com, find out about how to, use you guys for my own site, or you have your own crowdfunding sites people you could use too to do that, or anything, or you just want you guys as like a consultant because you're going to build your own, but you need help. Brain power, right?
Yeah.
So come to the guys who probably even built more crowdfunding sites than anyone else in the world. And that's investedin.com, right?
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the time.
My pleasure, Alan. Good fun. And you notice that this guy started this business because he was in a band. He was in a punk rock band 10 years ago. And he said, we need money to tour. We need money to do all this. And he figured out how to do it on the internet. So if he could figure out how to get money for his punk rock band, I'm sure he could help you figure out how to get money for what you want to do.